Hey all, Sean here, back again with another edition of Game On Cards and Collectibles. With the new year starting, I thought maybe we can get back to basics a little bit, and I could talk to you about constructing a personal collection, and kind of what I've done. Uh, for a few years now, I've kind of had the parts of how I wanted my collection to look in my head over the last few years, and um, I last year I started documenting it, and now I've kind of put it all together. Wanted to share it with everybody. Hopefully, this can help some people that maybe are collecting and maybe without a purpose, or I found myself there as well, where you're just kind of collecting random things and don't really know why, and you start looking down at some cards and you're like, why do I have these cards? So hopefully, whether you're new to collecting, and even if you're not collecting in the hobby, maybe you collect other things that are outside of trading cards. This hopefully applies, and it's something that you can use in your future collecting, and really help organize some of the collecting aspects and make it more enjoyable. So let's get into it. Constructing a PC. Start with asking the question why. Why are you collecting in the first place? Uh, what do you want to collect? It's an important question. Sometimes the most simple, basic questions really kind of have you self reflect on what you have been collecting and why. And this applies to anything. So whether it's collecting trading cards, thimbles, stamps, whatever the case may be. So when you collect, some things to consider. Obviously, nostalgia is a big factor in collecting in the hobby and in other things as well. It brings you back to maybe a simpler time, or a different time where you really enjoyed these items. Friends, maybe you have some friends that you collected with that it brings you back some of those memories as well. Or maybe you collect with friends now and you kind of share in that experience. Obviously, family as well. Collecting with family members, children, fathers and sons, mothers, daughters, what have you. Meet the person. Did you actually meet an individual, maybe a athlete or an actor, actress, and and that kind of sparked your interest in having that moment, and capturing it in a trading card or some other piece of memorabilia. Maybe you went to a game or event that was really important to you. You or a family, you and a family member, you and a friend, and you also want to capture that in some sort of a collection. Relatable personality characteristics. You like the way that person handles themselves. You like that they're they're hard worker. Maybe you can share in those common characteristics. You just like the way that they hustle, things like that. It can be as simple as little things like that. And maybe there's a theme. A lot of people collect based on a certain type of theme. Those themes can be anything from their name. Maybe you love to collect players that have the name Jesus, or maybe the jersey number that you wore in high school is this, the same number of an athlete that you want to collect. Maybe I've heard, a father collects their certain serial number cards because their son's birthday is October 24th, and so every card that they collect is a serial number, 10 of 24. There's also obviously teams and other things like that really bring you back to the reason why you collect specific items. Now, constructing your PC, does your collection tell a story? Can somebody look at your collection and go, "Oh, I already know a lot about you, or what things you like to collect"? Try to be deliberate with your PC pickups. So, when you're looking at different cards or items that you want to collect, have a specific reason of why that's important. Set rules. set rules such as, I'm not going to spend more than X number of dollars on this particular player or this particular item. Maybe I only want to collect a certain number of these. So have some boundaries in place. Uh, when you're looking at a card, will this card or this item upgrade what I currently have? It's very important to think about. These are questions that, in the heat of the moment, getting excited, bringing your emotions in. Nothing wrong with bringing emotions into collecting, but at the same time, you want to be tactful and very specific in how you're going to collect, and will this card just add to a pile, or will it be something important that I'll want to show off? um, Consolidate. This is somewhere where I've struggled with over the years, but I'm trying to get better with, is getting rid of a lot of extra stuff that you don't need anymore. You know, ABC, A always, B, C, consolidating. um, so make sure that the cards that you have, are part of your overall collecting journey, not just keeping piles of cards in a closet. Now, you want to also consider moving or selling the lower tier cards. When you have your boundaries in place and you're picking up another card, make sure you're considering moving away from one of those other cards to fill that space, so that you're not just adding more and more. Your PC doesn't have to be expensive. Some of my favorite cards are cards that I bought for $5 or $10. So you know, just don't when you're looking at building your collection out, you can go very inexpensive and still have just as much fun and enjoy your collection just as much on a very tight budget. Don't be afraid to show off your cards. And modesty, I put modesty doesn't work in the hobby. There's a reason, why you're telling a story and building out your collection. Share it with people. Let them know about it. Social media is as bad as sometimes it can be. It is one of the places that you really can enjoy showing off your cards and relating with other people that have common interests, and and cheering them on during that collection journey. Collector community is an opportunity. As I just stated, there's a lot of opportunities to engage with other collectors, share in these experiences, and maybe that'll open the door at some point for opportunities to build your collection that you otherwise wouldn't have had those opportunities to. Now, let's go into my collection and what I've kind of organized to give you some examples. So, an overview for my collection: I've got 5 categories with my logo. That's it's not just a logo, but there's a reason behind it and a strategy behind it. So, the 5 categories that I collect are football, baseball, tennis, UFC/MMA, mixed martial arts, and then I have a category just non-sport, other, and miscellaneous. Now, organizing my PC, within each of these categories, I have a total of 200 cards essentially in my collection. At least that's what I'm shooting for. Um, Under football, put limits of up to 5 players that I'll collect. I'm a very heavy into player PC. That to me is more important than maybe set building and other types of collection collecting ways. I'm very heavy on the player PC. So within those 5 players, I have given myself up to 5 cards each. That's a total of 25 cards in that specific category. Same thing with baseball, up to 5 players, up to 5 cards of each of those, so 25 total. And you can break it up differently. Maybe you only want to have 2 cards of one player, and and you can have the other 23 broken up into several other players, some with more. It doesn't have to be exact 5, 5, 5, 5. So same thing with tennis and UFC as well. So that's the kind of the breakdown. Now with non-sport, other, and miscellaneous, that's where the other half of my collection comes in. I've done that in that way because it allows me to have these rainbow sets, what I call. So I've done some videos on that where uh, some certain player I'll have all the different colors of their, refractors, different serial number cards, and that helps me put together the set, but also allows me to have it fall within those 200 total cards within the collection. And then another player I have is I'm collecting all of their playing years, all of their playing years as a set. That also would fall under that other 100 card non-sport, other, and miscellaneous. Now I'm going to break it down into the different categories. So 5 categories I've already talked about, and we're going to go into the football example. So again, part of the football, I've got up to 5 players. I have up to 25 cards within that category. The specific players that I have are Harold Red Grange. To me, you can't not only tell the story of the Chicago Bears, but really the NFL without the importance of what Red Grange brought to the game of professional football and helping transition it from just an amateur sport. And until I can afford a 1933 Gaudi or find a good deal on a 55 All American, for now I'm collecting the '08 Upper UD Masterpiece. A very cool little set. If you're not familiar with it, they have a canvas type feel, and they have a picture frame border that's in like a frame like fashion, and they have different colors of those. So I'm putting together that set. I'm still in the process of doing that and been doing so for quite some time. I'm still missing a couple of the lower serial number. The next person is Walter Payton, my idol growing up as a kid. I always wanted to emulate Walter, the way he handled himself, and just probably my favorite athlete is my favorite athlete of all time. And I'm putting together his all of his playing years in PSA 9, and that's still a work in progress. Next player is Greg Olsen. He reminds me of a time where the Bears coming off the Super Bowl loss in '06, and then in '07 they drafted him in the end of the first round. I thought he would be the last missing piece. I was so excited when they drafted him, and as you probably know, the rest is history. But still an important PC for me on Greg Olsen, and there's one of his cards that I have as part of my collection. And Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey is my, is my modern day collecting player PC. In 2012, when I got back into the hobby, this was the player I was chasing. He was just drafted in the second round by the Bears, and still to this day, believe it or not, he is the Bears' number one statistically, the best wide receiver that they've ever drafted outside of a couple of things in the 1950s, but modern day best wide receiver the Bears have ever drafted. So putting together my Alshon PC, and then hey, that's only 4. I have a 5th one. I haven't decided yet. Could be Brian Urlacher, could be Mike Ditka. There's so many choices I haven't decided on, but I do have an Urlacher rookie and Mike Ditka cards and things like that. But they're right now they fall under that other category of the other 100 cards. So until I make a decision on a 5th player, for now that's where those are going to stay. The next category we'll look at, and this will be the last category, is the non-sport example, just to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing here. So obviously the 200 cards again. This is the non-sport, other, and miscellaneous. In this category, I allow myself up to 100 cards. And one of the ones that come to mind right now that are prevalent, because I just finished it, is the Bundys Are Married with Children set. There's Ed O'Neill in a PSA 10, which was amazing that I've held on to that card for so long and finally got a 10. The Anchorman set, one of my favorite comedies of all time, the 2011, they came out with a card set, and I'm putting that together as well. Another example is the Flop set from 1992, the set that never really happened. And put that one together, and that was an exciting journey as well. And then other athletes still remain into this other category of the 100 cards, which is Royce Gracie, who I've kind of deemed him the Babe Ruth of mixed martial arts. And that's an awesome card. That's an on-card auto because a lot of sticker autos. He signs a lot, but doesn't do a lot of on-card. So that is an important piece to my collection. And Voices of the Octagon is a very cool set from 2022. Donruss Optic, and putting that little set together, because if you watch UFC on a regular basis, you see these commentators every day, and so they kind of where you may see the athlete 2 or 3 times a year, you see them every day, and you really kind of get to know them a little bit, and thought that was a very cool set to collect. So that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to say. I did want to also add to challenge yourself to do this same exercise, and hopefully that will result in an enjoyable experience and help think of these questions if you ever get that hobby burnout that can happen from time to time. So I appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and we'll see you back here real soon. Take care, everybody.